Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to StarRupture. Today I'm gonna show you how to make monsters like this. But first, every monster has a backbone. Let's go talk about the backbone. Okay, welcome to my biggest mistakes. This is an old ley line that I had previously. I'm not using it anymore, but basically this is the story that happens at the start. You get resources, you directly connect them to your Mr. Smelters. Mr. Smelters connect them to a buffer. The buffer sends it to buildings. Buildings start producing things, and then they send them to each other, and they make this mess of an spaghetti, mamma mia. But well, it is very unnecessary. Let me show you the correct way of doing non-spaghetti. Okay, give me a second before you judge me. I am a person who likes to have things where he can control them. So the reason why there's so many things here into each other, each of these are doing one special thing. You don't have to copy this. This is my atrocity. But basically, what you need to do, first of all, before going into the advanced, let's say Mega Press and Post after Mega Press levels, is completely separating your bar production from your product production. So as you can see, every single let's say resource that is at that side of the map is now coming here and getting produced into bars on these Great Walls of China that you see here. For both titanium, it is happening for the wolfranium, and I also have that one there, which is for calcium products. Yes, all of the resources, let's say the raw materials, are being stored here. They're getting dispatched into separate types and places in my lines, and then they're producing bars. The bars are being produced here and stored here, and then they're being sent to every corner of the universe where my factories are, because I don't like sending them via airplanes at the end, because it's not really calculable. You can't do it. But yeah, basically just separate your smelters from everything else. That's it. You can make one of these walls. If you have watched part 1, you already know how to make double floored buildings, so do it. Next one, we're gonna be doing calculations about other things. So let's get to the other base. Okay, now prepare for some numbering. Yes, I'm gonna use titanium housing, which is one of the most used, let's say, products in your next missions and next production lines. So when it comes to titanium housing, for example, titanium housing needs 2 products inside of it in order to produce this little thing. What are those? It is titanium sheet and it's titanium beam, which are produced both in this factory. This factory, come here. Okay, let me put one here and one there. So what we need for it is, number 1, sheets. Number 2, it is the beams. But let's first see what we need. This is exactly the process you have to go through. There's an Excel sheet in the link in the description, or the description of the video. There you can actually find these calculations, most of them. Just write, press Control F in the Excel sheet, write the name of the material, and you can find how many and how it is produced, and how to put the lanes on it. And there's also links for other videos as well that shows you how to make them. Okay, let's go back to what we were doing. The titanium housing, look, it says every 2 seconds it will produce 1 titanium housing, which means, again, as I said, make these minutes. So it's gonna produce about 30 titanium housing per minute. What does that mean? It means we're gonna need 30 beams and we're gonna need 60 sheets. But this is the bread and butter, okay? So that's 60, that's again another 30, so that's 90. So, question of the day. If I need 60 sheets and if I need 30 of this, how do I make that? How do I calculate that? Let me take you to an Excel sheet part. Okay, now here's a fun little thingy to take into consideration. So what we see here is that for producing 90 titanium housing, you're gonna need to make 3 fabricators for titanium sheet and 5 fabricators for titanium beams, because beams are produced slower than sheets. So if you want to produce 90 titanium housing, you're gonna need to feed this machine or these 3 furnaces a total of 180 plus 90 materials, which is 270 materials total. But oh no, my lane 2 can only carry 240 materials. So, well, this won't do. So what do? This is what the advanced levels are for. This is what you're getting clogged on. This is why your rails are always like having like these on them, and they can't like send the stuff over. They just go like ants back to back. This is why. For doing this, you can't make 3 furnaces. If you have lane 3 unlocked, yes, you can make something like this. But because when you are watching this video, you're probably only having lane 2s. So what you will do, the calculation is this. So this is for 3. So I will need to decrease the number of factories in this one. So I will need only 2 furnaces, which are going to produce 60 housing, let's say 60 house. Okay, so what does 60 housings mean? You just remove, well, 60 of this. So you're gonna need 120 sheets, and you're gonna need 60. Oh no, that's Persian. Oh, I'm sorry for you to see that. my mathematics is still in Persian. By the way, I live in Istanbul, Turkey, but I'm Iranian, so yeah, there you go. Extra information. Ta-da! So you're gonna need 60 beams. So then we go back and we will reduce these as well. So I need only 120. So instead of 3, I will put 2 fabricators, which will need even less titanium bars. And then instead of 9 for titanium beams there, we're gonna be doing this and reducing this number as well. So let's go back there. I will show you the, let's say, the thing after it is actually set. 1 second. Okay, so now the calculations are done and we can do whatever we want with it. So if you remember, we said we're gonna need now 60 sheets because, ta-da, we are going to produce now titanium housing. Yes, so each of these will need 30 beams and about 60 sheets. Okay, so 30, 60, that's 90. And again, we have another one that's 30, 60, 90. So 180 materials are going to come around here. So we made the backlight. Now we have these. Look, titanium beams are produced 20 per second. So 20 from this, 20 from that, 20 from there. That is 60. Then we go up there, and up there we have sheet production, which is going to be 60 from here and 60 from here, and that is the 120 that we needed. So all of them will go there, and this will produce a little bit of, let's say, loss. Not much, not low, not heavy, let's say. So how are we going to connect these? Look, if you don't know how to make the second floor, just watch the first video. Yes. So you made a second floor. Here we have the sheet production. Here we have this, and all of these are rail 2. So they work the way they are supposed to do. Okay, now that these are connected, look, beams are being produced here. I have a lane that is connecting resources to the first floor. Then I have rails that is connecting it to the second floor. Then from the second floor and the first floor, all of the resources are connected here, which are going to this factory and this factory. And, well, let us continue our journey towards seeing, well, we made it. And this is, by the way, another tip I gave this in the first video too. First, make your full factory, then connect it to power. Because when factories get connected to a power, they will slow down your game. So every time you're making one connection, you will wait and you will get an FPS drop. So, look. There you go. Because my buildings are so interconnected to each other, now my FPS drops are even bigger. Okay, see? That's that. And this is this. Clockwork. Like clockwork. Now, look. Let the journey begin. No clogging. extremely efficient, nothing gets wasted, and anything you want to be produced is calculated, and so you know exactly how many of this material you're going to produce per minute, so you can actually go to the next level, which is, for example, let's make something with titanium housing now. Oh no, this is actually where the game gets hard. Okay, now all of your hard work will come to that. As I said, this factory is called the first factory you ever need to make in StarRupture. It's a factory that produces both your building materials and your ammunition for your guns at the same time. You can check it out, it's a pretty sweet one. At some stage in the game, because Mega Press and let's say the other ones, when they start, you're gonna need like all of these resources. Look, we just made titanium housing. You need glass and inductors for automating the production of your advanced material, for example, right? Now, what I showed you is how you calculate and actually make bigger and bigger and bigger factories in this game. There are several videos in the description, just go check them out. I don't want to talk about them more, but let me show you what we did. Remember those housings and everything that we said we're producing? Look, we have all of them. This is the furnaces for the housings. Those are my, let's say, smelters. From smelters, because, by the way, the reason why we have a smelters here is because this is a different, completely separate factory from all of my factories. This only works for making, let's say, building materials and ammo for me. So I'm not using these resources for anything else, so they are not getting fed bars from other buildings. But look, I got the bars. The bars are turning into sheets. I don't know, they're turning into basic building material. Then they're being carried to the next one. The housings are being produced here. The housings are going to the next one. Then they're getting carried away into either ammunition or here. And there's also the powder makers and everything. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Look. Yes, it is very fantastic. And it feels really good. And it's not getting clogged anytime. And it is super efficient. And it is zero loss. No material. Zero materials are wasted on this one. I worked hard on calculating these. So they have zero loss. And they look good, actually. Yeah, they're pretty good too. And as you can see, like, there's no spaghetti. But I said this in the previous video too. I say it again. Any video you see online that tells you make one lane and it will carry everything for your factory, those are lies. Okay, those are lies. There will come a time at your game that you will be producing things like helium, pressurized helium, or for example, sulfuric acid. I have farms for all of them. Yeah, but this sulfuric acid farm produces 300 sulfuric acid per minute. And look at the infrastructure it needs. See all of this? It's about 50 factories, okay? You can't connect 50 factories to each other with one line. It is mathematically impossible. Don't get fooled into it. Yes, and by the way, these bases don't get clogged either. I'm very proud of them. They never get clogged. Nothing in my bases get clogged. Yes. Yes, because I even calculated how you need, so I made 2 lanes. Alright, anyways, that's beside the point. Hope you enjoyed the video. If it was helpful, or if you have any question, leave a comment. I answer all of the comments. As always, thanks for the likes, thanks for the hypes, thanks for the comments and for your questions, and for memberships and your supers. And well, if it's nighttime, I hope you sleep like babies, and if it's daytime, man, I hope they do something about this. I want to reduce the time, increase the time between these ruptures. They're really annoying. It takes like 3 hours to make one factory, and that's 5 ruptures. Almost 5 ruptures. Anyways. See you in the next video.